This is the Say It Can't Gamer, and you are live with the MMA-Holes!
Mixed Martial A-Holes! MMA-Holes, 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 MMA-Holes. You like to be a mixed martial A-hole. MMA-Holes, 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 MMA-Holes.
Boom, 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 boom.
No way.
From the Queen Studios of New York, Mark Hunt choked the fook out. Jimi Manuwa is hurt. Canelo versus Triple G2 controversy. Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao 2. And other MMA news with the MMA. Wonderful, wonderful. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it is the MMA Holes Hour. And tonight we will go for one swole hour, sexy hour of MMA talk, some boxing talk today, and a lot of stuff because this is a big weekend for combat sports. Let's put it that way. A lot of stuff went down, especially on Saturday. A lot of things to watch there. And we have a lot of news tonight. So we have to crowbar everything into this tight pussy of a show. Jesse, are you excited for tonight?
I'm super excited. I'm always excited.
Are you redlining again tonight?
Am I redlining?
Well, you were there. All right, hold on. You're fine.
Okay.
We'll check
I'll
that out.
pay attention to it.
We are on Podbean. We are on iTunes. And we are wonderful, wonderful over here. As we're live on YouTube with a sexy, swole bunch of people inside this phone. And it's time for some MMA news and all that bullshit. All right, so here we go. Mark Hunt is choked the fook out over here as my chat room is not working, so I'm going to fix that up. But Jesse, what do you think about that? You called it. You clean sweep and got everything going and flowing with this fight. UFC Russia.
I feel, what do I feel?
Horny?
Like it was expected. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it. Now I'm really low. Oh, no. Check. Testing.
No, you're good. You were just... Yeah, you're good. Just keep talking. So you feel what? What do you feel?
It was supposed to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it was going to happen. I am a pro at predicting fights. I am the new mystic.
Yeah, you did a fantastic job over there as we look over at the card, and that is clean sweep. Now, I have to say this. I got to give myself some credit here because I got perfects. But you got the whole card. You got the whole main card over here, getting all the wins. And a couple of things to look out for. Okay, you ready? There was a decision in the first one over here as Alvarez gets the L, and that was a really close fight over there, like extremely close, but the hometown boy gets the win. And Arlovsky, I mean, are we done with this guy? Or, I mean, brutal stuff over here from the veteran. I'm so sick of seeing Andrei Arlovsky, but the next fight, Jan Blachowicz with the submission in the second round, gets it done, and Jan Blachowicz, this guy's a legit contender over here. This man over here looks very impressive. Nikita Krylov, extremely dangerous, and Jan Blachowicz just gets the work done. Submission, finishing, looking very good on the ground, and bright things for the future of him. But Mark Hunt, and you can see this picture over here. Okay, now you can see on YouTube if you're watching it on YouTube.
It's very romantic.
It does. It looks like Do you think the cock of the Russian is in the backside of Mark Hunt, Jesse?
Yes.
It does, right? It seems like that. It seems like Mark Hunt is getting attacked from behind. It's like a rape over here as he gets choked out in this embarrassing fight.
Wonderful.
Like, when I say embarrassing, extremely, this fight, what happened? Now, I know Mark Hunt is 44 years old.
Mark Hunt is simply out of his prime.
Yeah, he's 44 years old, so Captain Obvious over there. But
sorry.
he's
I'm actually just saying like really random shit.
I thought you read the chat. You see that's wait, what?
No, that was me. I'm sorry.
What's going on?
I'm waiting to see if I can match up, but I'm really low right now.
What happened?
Nothing. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Your volume is very good. Just keep talking into that microphone. You'll
Yeah.
be fine. I'll monitor you because when you get excited, you put your face deep into the mic and then you blow everyone's eardrums out.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna watch you tonight. I'm gonna pay attention to this
I got it.
because we do have an audio version of this, and I don't want you to make people's eardrums explode out of their heads. All right. So Mark Hunt, yes, he is out of his prime. He's 44 years old, but he looked fantastic against the Black Beast. It was an injured Black Beast. It was a weird Black Beast, but he looked good. And this fight over here. Whew. Sheesh. Fuck. I mean, he looks horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Horrible.
Like, I thought he would at least put up a fight. Now, I said before the fight I was a little worried about the submission, and I should have went with my gut, but I didn't. And Mark Hunt, I think we're done with this guy. Do you think, 44 years old, I don't know how many fights he has left on his contract, but is enough with Mark Hunt? Let me know in the chat what you think. Are you done with seeing Mark Hunt fight? I mean,
Throw in the gloves.
you think so?
Throw in the gloves, Mark Hunt.
You think it's done?
I think it's done.
Actually, let's look over here before I go into this chat. I want to look at Mark Hunt and see his last couple of fights. Okay. Mark Hunt is 13-13-1, but this guy's been around for a long time, fighting all around the world. He's on a 2-fight losing streak, and he lost his one submission. The one before that was a Curtis Blades hump fest. Blades just literally fucked the shit out of him. And then you had that weird Derek Lewis win over there. I mean, fight of the night. He looked motivated, super motivated in that fight. And hold on a second. After that, we have Alistair Overeem, which this was just vicious. What was that, a knee that took him out in the third round? I mean, ugh. You got the Brock Lesnar disaster before that where Brock Lesnar humped him. A lot of people like to hump this man, which is another reason why I probably should have picked against him in this fight because, when the hump fest is on, Mark Hunt is done, especially at this stage of his game. Before that, you have the Frank Mir fight, but we're talking how long back? 2016. And Antonio Silva, that was a 2-fight win streak over there. And you got up, down, up, down. The best he had was a 4-fight win streak, and that was in 2013, starting at 2011. So, yeah, I think we're at the end of the Mark Hunt. I don't know where he stands with his contract. The lunatic will probably fight until he's like 60 years old. Probably go to a Bellator or something like that. So what is next for Mark Hunt, Jesse? What would you say?
Absolutely fucking nuttin'.
The Seahawks are on in the background. We actually have them on versus the Chicago Bears. It is 10-3.
Olympia, if you're in the chat, my fellow Seahawks fan, I hope you're watching both the MMA-Holes and the Seahawks game tonight. So we can celebrate our victory after the show.
All right, let's see what we have in the chat. What do you guys say? We got 20 likes.
20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes.
Yeah.
20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. 20 likes, 20 likes.
I've got fucking
20 likes. I hope the dislikes die of leprosy.
There are 30 likes over there. Make sure you like the fook out of this video. And let's have a like party. Shout out to TygerLyfe Energy, Duplex Entertainment, and ARN Insulation. They are our sponsors for this lovely evening. Jesse, what do we got in the chat?
Vigo Stockholm says, do a live reaction to the Seahawks game. Gay Agent says, man humping is rather sensual and artistic. It dates back to the days of human glory. Steve Johnson's laughing in the chat. Austin Cook says, Russians are taking over in every division. Stewie says, hey, Chris, are you divorced or still living in sin? Mystic Mitch says, good day, Holes. Ann H says, Hunt will go to Bellator. Staleo2 says, if rape was legal, I would never have time to watch this show. Capstar Fix says, 2 joints. Steve Johnson is laughing in the chat. Drunk Savage says to 2 joints, sup. 2 joints says, Ann is wonderful. Flat Earth Deacon says, Trump must be getting ready to let a flood of Russian mutzies in soon. Ann H says, hello, Chris and Jesse.
Hello.
Mr. Alkline says, you still waiting on that sandwich?
No. Oh, no, you didn't. Okay, we're going to stop there.
Gay Agent says, hello there, Mr. Two Dicks. Flat Earth Deacon is well, there's no more comments.
Oh.
Are you not paying attention to the chat?
No, it says fuck me daddy.
Oh, now it says fuck me daddy, but it's our keep poo.
All right. Those are the comments. Keep the comments going inside this little cell phone of comments over here. Knock yourself out. Let me know if you're watching the football game while you're watching us. And we did a live reaction to the Giant game yesterday versus the Cowboys. That was horrific. Trying to get a last-second comeback. And tonight, we have a 10-3 game, Chicago versus the Seahawks in the third quarter. All right, Jesse, we have a swole, sexy show. A lot of topics tonight. We're going to cram it into a swollen hour, right? A swollen, sexy hour. If you guys want to donate, link in the description. We have fantastic songs. You can hear Jesse sing, make out with Laura Sanko, right? and other wonderful, wonderful stuff. Down below, the super chat is live and going as well underneath the chat room. So make sure you interrupt the show because on the audio version, it really ties it up in a nice little bow. But Jesse, it's time for something right now.
Yeah.
Are you ready, Jesse?
Yes.
Are you sure you're ready?
I am positive I'm ready.
I'm ready too, Jesse. As you gaze off at the football game, it's a little segment that I like to call the news.
I love you.
What is that?
I hope we get to hear the whole thing this time.
It's very romantic. But it's time to get some news, Jesse. Are you ready?
Yes.
Good.
Jesse, read us the news. Oh, Jesse,
It's getting romantic.
I want the MMA news.
This is beautiful. Mystic Mitch quit smoking, Jesse.
Nice job, Mystic Mitch.
Congratulations.
Finish work. Whatever you do, it's gonna be okay.
Can you
All
not
right.
just let me finish the song?
No,
For once?
it's time for the news, Jesse. The MMA-Holes.com. Let's go. Jesus Christ, you just popped the mic.
I didn't want you to push the button, but
All
I
right.
couldn't get it.
Yeah,
fast.
this is getting ridiculous. All right, what do we have in the news? A lot of stories, only in an hour of time.
Brock Lesnar returns to the WWE, but still eyes UFC heavyweight title.
Ooh.
Brock Lesnar made something of a surprise return to the WWE on Sunday night as it's held in a Cell pay-per-view show. Lesnar, a former UFC heavyweight champion, was believed to have finished up with a pro wrestling organization in August at SummerSlam at the Barclays Center. He had entered the USADA testing program to return to the UFC, where he was offered a heavyweight championship fight against Daniel Cormier. The fight was expected to take place sometime in early 2019. According to sources close to Lesnar, he is still planning on returning to the UFC, but appeared Sunday to set up another big pro wrestling match that would take place in an as-of-yet announced major show in Saudi Arabia
Oops, sorry.
on
Whoops.
November 2nd. While he has been in the USADA testing pool, meaning he is serious about returning, he has not yet signed a deal with the UFC. The WWE has a lucrative deal with the government of Saudi Arabia. The two sides signed a 10-year deal for regular shows, the first which took place on April 27th. The shows are extremely controversial because they doubled a propaganda pieces up for the government. WWE did not directly release how much they are getting for the shows due to confidentiality clause in the contract, but based on an added revenue in the category that the show fell under, the number in its quarterly business statement, the figure looked to be in the range of $45 million.
All right, so that's Brock Lesnar going back to the WWE, but my prediction is looking so fucking good, Jesse. I'm gonna pull this up on the screen again because you know some people forget how mystical I am, right? So I'm gonna go to the community section. Okay, I'm gonna scroll down. There's Herb Yamasaki. If anyone's missed that on the community section,
That was great. Whoever made that.
It was
Very
wonderful,
smart.
wonderful. All right, so I'm gonna go to my predictions. Okay, and a Mystic Moss prediction a week ago. UFC 233 title fights. Jones versus Gustafsson for the interim title. That's going to fucking happen, Jesse. That will happen because Gustafsson gets weirdly pulled off of that card they were supposed to fight at, right?
Yes.
And now John Jones meets at the UFC facilities with his manager.
Yes.
Looks like the UFC is going to pay off the USADA. Colby Covington is talking hella smack to Tyron Woodley.
That's
Says
not going to happen.
he wants to fight at MSG. They're going to pay the man. They're going to pay Tyquil Woodley to fight Colby Covington for sure. And Joanna Jedrzejczyk says she is down for the Shevchenko fight, and she wants to fight by the end of this year. I want to fight before year is up. So Joanna is down for the fight before the year is up. Now, I know UFC 230 is not the last fight of the year, but it's the only fight card that will house these fights. In fact, I think I got them all correct, Jesse. And I'm going to gloat right now. I'm going to gloat. How do you feel about that?
I think they're all incredible predictions. I think Jones versus Gustafsson is going to be a huge hype. That very well may happen. Woodley Covington,
How are you not sure that's going to happen?
Covington Woodley was supposed to happen already, and both fighters dodged each other for like bizarre reasons.
They're going to fight.
Covington gets pulled, and then all of a sudden Woodley's fighting someone completely different with someone else, Usman, as their backup. Covington had nothing to do with it. All Covington did was talk shit. I honestly don't think Covington Woodley is going to happen. I really don't.
Wait, hold on a second.
Not this year.
Hold on a second.
I think it can happen.
First of all, no, it is happening. Covington will be fighting. First of all, they're going to fight.
This year.
And my prediction is it's going to be this year.
Exactly.
But Covington Woodley will fight.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's not going to happen this year. Mm-hmm. It's just not going to happen.
You don't think it's going to happen this year?
Jedrzejczyk Shevchenko, I could see happening this year. Because Jedrzejczyk, if we remember, when she lost, she was like all of a sudden on fight nights and UFC on Fox cards. Like, it was really bizarre how they moved her. But she's working her way back up there. Clocks.
What in the holy fuck?
Good night for the home team. Good fight. Enjoy dinner. Chris desk face savoring food.
What the fuck? Clocks, being a man of his word, has just dropped in a 250 super chat. Wow. Whoa. Thank you,
You're
Clocks.
Speechless?
Holy shit.
He couldn't come up with a word. He's like, whoa.
250 super chat by Clocks just dropped in, making Connor fly. And he said that he was going to bet $10,000 on the Canelo Triple G fight.
Yes.
And we're like, nah, man, I don't know if that's a good idea. But what did we say? We were like, go for it. You proved us wrong once before. And once again, he proves us completely wrong. And Clocks just did it. So congratulations to Clocks for the win and Canelo, and congratulations to the MMA-Holes.
Everybody give a round of applause to Clocks.
That's right. A strong round of applause to Clocks over there dropping the 250 super chat. Wow. Unbelievable stuff.
I said it first. Jinx, you owe me soda.
Soda? No, you owe me a beer. What were we
I don't
playing
want any
in
beer
preschool? Yeah, that's true. You had a rough weekend. Thank you, Clocks. Appreciate it. Now, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just talk about that fight then. Okay.
Canelo Triple G.
Yeah, let's touch base on this. Okay.
Yes.
So first of all, not only was Clocks correct about the victory that Canelo was going to have, but there was an uproar afterwards, and people were saying that Triple G was robbed again, and he was robbed the first time. I do believe that, with the draw. But the second time, we didn't see it live.
Right.
We went live and we spoke to the people, and majority said that Triple G in fact won that fight. And I was like, man, I really got to watch this fight. Vlad and a couple of others. Tony was another one, came in and was like, nope, Canelo really did win that fight. And there was a little bit of an argument in the chat, but it still seemed lopsided on the Triple G side. So the next morning, I go on YouTube and boom, there's a video. Someone actually clipped it and had the whole goddamn fight. So we watched all 12 rounds. I sat there with my popcorn and my dick hanging out. And I really watched this fight, knowing the outcome of the fight. There was no bias or anything. I just literally just okay, we're going to watch this thing. We're going to just enjoy it.
Yeah.
First of all, this fight was fantastic. Was absolutely fantastic. It really was something else. It was special because boxing's been sliding for me. Listen, MMA is here, and my hand is very high if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify or Podbean.
It's just about 6 inches above his head.
And boxing's about to my nutsack, right? So, yeah, this fight brought me back in.
Right.
In fact, I want to see a trilogy. I need to see a trilogy for this fight because this fight was so good. Beginning to end, back and forth. I really thought Canelo was teeing off on Triple G. He was slick. His head movement was fantastic. His countering, the power of his strikes. Triple G looked like an old man in this fight. Now, he did turn up the heat towards the end of the fight, but it definitely was not enough in my book. And I think Canelo won convincingly. I think they got it right. I really do. What do you think by looking at the fight?
I think you summed it up pretty well. When it comes to the spectrum of boxing to MMA, I've got MMA up here, and boxing isn't even on the spectrum because I'm not a fan of boxing at all. But having just watched the fight, just as a fan of combat sports, I think you summed it up pretty well. I think it did go to Canelo. I think what happened was everybody had their minds on Triple G. So that's what they expected to happen.
I thought Triple G was going to win.
Everybody did. Everybody in the chat, they all kept saying Triple G. But I think during the fight, even though Canelo did take an advantage during a lot of the rounds, people had these horse blinders on Triple G, that Triple G was winning. And I think that's what happened. That's why everybody came afterwards saying, oh, he was robbed, he was this, he was that. And he really wasn't. I think Canelo did win the fight.
Yeah, listen, if you think Triple G won that fight, Michael Bisping was complaining about it And he's like, Triple G, yeah, whatever he was saying. You're crazy. You're absolutely on crack. Triple G did not win this fight. No, I don't see how. Honestly, I don't see how people could be upset unless you bet money and you had Triple G. You know, you're trying to find an angle to complain about something.
Yeah.
Other than that, no, he did not. No, that didn't happen. And one judge had it as a draw. Sean McKenzie on Twitter had it as a draw as well. And I firmly disagree. Really disagree. And my son gets the win. So Canelo Alvarez. Now, if you're not a boxing fan and you just like to watch the UFC or you know any other mixed martial arts, I do recommend you watch Triple G Canelo 2. The first one was okay. It was good. It was a good fight.
Right.
This one was way better in my opinion. It was way better. It was just I was kind of, even knowing the outcome, I was on the edge of my seat. The display of striking, minimal hugging. I mean, you know, a lot of times in boxing you see hugging and you're like, please just take him down and just ground and pound. You don't see that, unfortunately. But seeing these guys just go in there and trade, man, it was a thing of art, a work of art, and I want to see a third. Let me know in the chat. Do you want to see a third Triple G Canelo Alvarez? Let me know right now. We'll move on in the news.
Two Joint says, so much drama. OMG. Wheezing336 says, Canelo looked ahead to me, and I saw most rounds. Steve Johnson says, Ken. Kevin from Chicago says, Chris just roots for gingers. Steve Johnson says, Ken from Chicago. Kevin from Chicago. Are those the fight metric stats? I only saw the ones from the broadcast. Joey Fagger says, Red Race is powerful. Steve Johnson says, I had Triple G. Two Joint says, Sean McKenzie can draw. Wheezing336 says, I'll watch a third. Triple G clearly won the first after all. Drunk Savage says, way more entertaining than any of Floyd's fights. And H.
It's true.
No, I still hate boxing.
I would love to see Canelo just beat the fuck out of Floyd Mayweather right now. You know Floyd would never take that rematch.
Yeah.
And this Pacquiao thing's a complete joke. I don't think the Pacquiao thing's happening, by the way. What else we got in that chat?
Steve McWilliams says, would love to try those steroid tacos Canelo had. Clock says Canelo moved forward the entire fight. Austin Cook says Anthony Joshua versus Povetkin this Saturday. Two Joint says JBH doesn't hug you, Chris. She hits you like the man boy you are. I do hug him. Watch this, guys. I hug him. Ready?
Look what you did. Look what you did. Look what just happened. Look what you did. I just got hugged.
I always hug him.
Kevin from Chicago says they robbed Triple G twice. How did you, Kevin? Let me ask you a question. I've watched fights, especially just going back to a lot of the UFC fights, right? During a fight, while in the heat of the moment, I'd be like, "Oh my god, this is a travesty," and then I'm gonna go back the next day and watch the fight and be like, "Wow, that's a completely different fight." Completely. In fact, McGregor versus Diaz too. I thought Diaz won the fight in real time. I was like, well, Diaz won that fight. Like, I was like, yeah, McGregor just lost that fight.
Yeah.
And then when McGregor got the win, I was like, okay, I'm cool with that. Yeah, McGregor won. And then I'm like, I don't think he won. The next day I went back and I watched it and I was like, you know what? McGregor won that fight. Kevin, watch it again. I have a feeling you only watched it one time. Just watching it unbiased and just paying attention to it, not tossing back beers, hanging out with friends or jerking off, whatever. I'm telling you, Canelo won that fight. I don't understand. Anyway, let's move on to some more news, Jesse.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
I love this song so much, Chris.
Me too, Jesse.
I just wanted to tell you.
Tongue my fart box.
What? That sounds really gross.
I love you.
Whoa. What the hell was that? All right, Jesse. What else do we have in the news?
We just have just give me one more minute of the song, okay? We'll just say it.
Just wonderful.
All right, what do we got in the news?
Eryk Anders replaces injured Jimi Manuwa and faces Thiago Santos in the new UFC Sao Paulo main event.
This card is fucking. This fight is cursed. Is absolutely cursed. Did I pass it? Yeah, there it is. Absolutely cursed. Now it's still a good fight, but what the fuck? How many pullouts do we have in this fight? Insane. What's the story?
UFC Sao Paulo.
I'm gonna wrap one on one shoulder. I'm gonna wrap the other on the other shoulder. And you're gonna need a fucking arm
Vlad.
to come take them belts off me.
GGG said Canelo was scared to come forward and trade with him. His entire team said that is the reason he didn't knock him out. Well, what now? He pushed forward and was the aggressor the entire fight. 1-1 in my eyes.
I tell you what.
Need a third.
Imagine a third.
No, there is going to be a third. I mean,
so?
Hands down. First of all, the money, right? But something is weird with this fight. Triple G did not look like his old self. Now, credit to him turning it up towards the end.
Right.
But even to the very end, Canelo came back. Like, it wasn't like, it wasn't like, okay, Canelo got the first half of the fight, Triple G got the second half. No, Canelo landed some fucking crazy shots in there. What I loved was Canelo's counters. Even though he was pushing and moving forward, he was slick, dipping under the punches and cracking Triple G. Triple G's fucking weird puppet face. You know how Triple G has a puppet face? It's really bizarre. He does. He looks like he should be sitting on someone's lap. He's like, I don't know.
Kermit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just bizarre. Triple G is a weird looking man. He's a very strange looking man. Fantastic fighter. But in this fight, he looked slow. He looked old. And Canelo just looked strong, powerful, quick, fast, moving forward. Love the way Canelo won that fight. And let's see a third. Imagine a third fight and it's a draw. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Vlad, for the donation.
All right. UFC Sao Paulo has a new main event again after going from Glover Teixeira to Jimi Manuwa to Manuwa versus Thiago Santos. Saturday's fight night card in Sao Paulo, Brazil, will be headlined by Santos versus Eryk Anders at light heavyweight. Sources told MMA Fighting after a report by MMA Junkie. The UFC card takes place at the Ibirapuera Gymnasium on September 22nd and airs live on Fox Sports 1. Anders is 11-1, steps in only 3 weeks after a devastating knockout win over Tim Williams in August, bouncing back from his only MMA loss to Lyoto Machida in February, a close 5-round decision in Brazil. And Santos is 18-6, defeated Kevin Holland via decision at UFC 227 in August. Now headlined by Santos versus Anders, the Fight Night Sao Paulo event has been hit by several changes over the past few weeks, losing matchups like Neil Magny versus Alex Oliveira, Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Elias Theodoro, and Ketlin Vieira versus Anya Evinger. The updated card can be seen on the MMA-Holes website via the link. Eryk Anders replaces injured Jimi Manuwa.
It's a good fight. Jimi Manuwa, he's cursed too, right? Jimi Manuwa, never going to be a champ. Jimi Manuwa is like perfect for Bellator. He's the guy. He's the guy. Send him over to Bellator with that pop. He's pushing 40. I don't know. His days are numbered. Still, Eryk Anders versus Santos is a good fight, so I'm not upset with that.
Yeah.
Where's my Jimi Manuwa fan in the chat? There's someone there that's, I forgot, what is his name? Tom something? I don't know. Anyway, let's move quickly through the news because we only have 32 minutes left in the show, but we do have saved the show with the last 5 minutes. This is how this works. The last 5 minutes, you can save the show with a donation. We will start the clock with 5 minutes left, but we're going to rattle through the news and touchdown Chicago. Jesse? Let me play the music while they do the touchdown dance. Nice lobbing spiral into the end zone. Number 17 catches the ball. Chicago celebrates as the Seahawks are playing terribly.
I love you.
All right. What else do we have in the news?
Joanna Jedrzejczyk says stripping Nicco Montano was fair and is very open to a fight with Valentina Shevchenko.
Yep.
Earlier this month, Nicco Montano was supposed to defend her UFC strawweight title against Valentina Shevchenko at UFC 228, but when Montano began suffering kidney issues due to her weight cut for the bout, the UFC's medical team pulled her from the card, and UFC President Dana White stripped her of the belt. It was a controversial decision, especially as Montano says she was strong-armed into taking the bout earlier than she was prepared for anyway, but not everyone dislikes the decision. Former UFC strawweight champion Joanna Jedrzejczyk agrees with the UFC's decision to strip Montano of the flyweight title, and in a media scrum ahead of UFC Moscow, Jedrzejczyk called out Montano for her lack of professionalism in failing to make weight, saying, quote, "I think it was fair. I paid the ultimate price, but I was on weight November 2017, and I would do this the same because for me, it's a shame for us as fighters and champions to not be on weight. We need real and dedicated fighters and champions in the UFC. It's simply the best organization in the world. Here is not a space for time and time for bullshit like this. It was very hard decision, very tough decision, and I believe that she's not happy, but you must take this job very serious and you must be 100% in. Weight cuts are not easy, are not nice, but it's part of your job, so we shouldn't complain and just be on weight when you have to be."
Joanna Jedrzejczyk back in her old form again, right? Joanna is saying, fuck it. I love this. The rematch against Shevchenko now, it's a tough fight for her because, she hasn't fared well against her in the past. But I like this. This is like a reinventing of Joanna Jedrzejczyk going up to 125 and doing some work over there. I love this fight. I hope this fight happens at 2:30, and my predictions will come true for sure. Yes, they will come true. They will come true, Mystic Mas, because you are wonderful, wonderful. I will beat up Valentina Shevchenko and be the 125-pound champion because I am Joanna champion. Oh, my God. Jesse, Joanna's here. I thought this is just a picture, but it apparently is Joanna Jedrzejczyk. Yes, I'm here, and I will be champion. It would be nice. It would be wonderful, wonderful. And yes, it would be so much fun to kick the shit out of Ruski. You're going to kick the shit out of Joanna Jedrzejczyk? Yes, I will kick shit out of Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
But you are Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Oh, shit. I mean,
wait a minute.
Wow, she must be confused.
Kick the shit out of Valentina Shevchenko?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm sorry. I'm Polish. I'm sorry. Oh, she's Polish. She forgot who she was fighting. She thought she was fighting herself.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm fighting myself. No, I want to fight Shevchenko,
Yeah.
Yeah, we know. We know you want to fight that. Are you going to be fighting at UFC 230, Madison Square Garden? Yes, there are a lot of Polacks and MSG, They spend a lot of money on tickets because we're Polish. So what does that, I don't know, what does that even mean? Oh, Polish people stupid? Oh, that's terrible, Joanna. I mean, there are some Polish people watching right now. In fact, I have a little bit of Polish in me. Yes, I could see. What does that even mean, Joanna? What are you trying to say? Well, you stupid?
You said you were going to fight Joanna Jedrzejczyk.
Well, I fight everybody. I fight the whole chat room. I'm going to say.
Would you fight me?
I would fight your bony ass.
Yeah?
Yes.
I would win.
No, you would not win.
Yes, I would.
No, you would not win.
Yes, I would.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, so Shevchenko versus Jedrzejczyk, UFC 230. That's going to happen. Guaranteed. Mark my fucking words. Jesse, what else we have in the news? It's so beautiful. As we scroll through the MMA-Holes.com, what else do we have going on?
Jessica Rose Clark says that she offered Andrea Lee a free flight and room after the alleged domestic abuse incident. Jessica Rose Clark was following the news reports about Andrea Lee's husband allegedly attacking Lee last month. Donnie Aaron, who has been married to Lee for about 5 years, had an arrest warrant issued August 20th in Shreveport, Louisiana, on counts of domestic battery and false imprisonment. Clark, Lee's peer in the UFC Women's Flyweight division, has experienced domestic violence herself and is a local or vocal advocate for victims. When she read what allegedly happened, Clark said she sent Lee a direct message on Twitter offering for a helping hand. She said, quote, "I don't know her personally. We've always just interacted online, but I messaged her on Twitter straight away and said, hey man, I've got a spare room. I'll pay for you and your daughter to come out to Las Vegas if you just need to get away. And I sent her my number." Lee never got back to Clark, which Clark had absolutely no problem with. Just a couple of weeks later, Lee's name surfaced on Clark's radar again as a potential opponent. Both have agreed to a bout, and Clark will fight Lee at UFC on Fox 31 on December 15th in Milwaukee, the UFC has announced. Quote, "She read the message but never responded. That was cool. I honestly didn't expect a response. I've been in similar situations. It was just strange how I tried to offer her a bit of sanctuary, and then 2 weeks later, we're booked to fight, and she's the reason I'm making my next paycheck." When the UFC posted about the Clark versus Lee fight on Twitter, the reaction for some was that it was odd considering Clark's public past involving domestic abuse and what Lee is currently going through. Clark said she thinks Lee is doing the right thing in accepting the fight quickly to focus on MMA.
This article is like domestic abuse. Andrea Lee, who deserves the beating more? I would go with Andrea Lee. Like, I would want to punch Andrea Lee in the face before I would punch, I don't know what the fuck's up with me. I think I have a little cum trapped in my throat. It's ridiculous. I would rather, my allergies are, hold on a second.
I gave you water.
This is ridiculous. My allergies are just, they're horrible. What the hell's going on? Andrea Lee, I would definitely punch her in the face before Jessica Rose Clark. She seems so sweet. I don't know. Jessica Rose Clark is, I think, more attractive as well. So I'd rather punch the least attractive one, Andrea Lee, in the face, right? The hillbilly that keeps black people in her home, right? That's what she said, right? Mm-hmm. So who would you punch first? if you had to punch one of them?
Neither. They've both been through domestic abuse cases.
What is up with all these women being in domestic? Now, it kind of makes sense, right? I mean, not that they're being abused, but it kind of makes sense that women have these pasts, right? Where guys...
Why does that make sense?
No, it's to become fighters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? I mean, Paige Van Zandt was abused. Jessica Rose Clark. Andrea Lee. And they all happen to be fighters. Like girls, they grow up, they want to be like models and doctors or whatever the fuck they want to be. Cunts, you know? And a lot of cunts in New York, if you know what I'm talking about, you know? But these women that become fighters, you know, a lot of them have that past, right? So I wonder the correlation. Do you think that we should beat more women so we can get more fighters in the UFC? Because there's clearly a drought with fighters, right? So do you think we should punch more women? Right? Think about it. Just let it rattle in your head. And let me know in the chat what you guys think. Should we beat up more women so there is a better, you know, more stacked women's division, like 145 or 145 problems. You know, you need more 145 women, right? So let's just smack a couple more girls around, right? What do you think?
No comment.
All right, let me chat. What do you think? All right, Jesse, what's going on in that chat? Oh, 20 likes.
20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. 20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. 20 likes, 20 likes. I've got fucking 20 likes. I hope the dislikes die of leprosy.
The most cringiest MMA show on YouTube, Podbean, and iTunes. The MMA-Holes. If you don't like it, you can lick my balls.
Lick my balls.
What we got going on in that chat?
NH says, OMG, no comment. Jay Smith says, more women need to be beaten up in general. Take a Claritin, Colby Covington, my allergies hurt, or a Allegra D works, bro. Why are we talking about women, says gay agent. Thomas, I'm sorry, I didn't read your comment. Sunny D says, pull into Nazis. Thomas says, broad. Steve Johnson's laughing in the chat. Staleo2 says, Moss must fight the urge to beat JBH every day. QC Fight Fan 309 says, I'll go make a few more UFC fighters right now. Some girls about to get slapped.
I mean, think about it. I mean, as much as cringy as what I'm saying here, and of course I'm joking, right? I don't want people to just start beating each other up for no reason or beating women for no reason. It's ridiculous.
Fap.
But here's the thing. It's a weird correlation, right? I mean, not many women, unless lesbians. That's a different story, right? Lesbians. So it's either lesbians or beaten women are fighting in the UFC. If you think about it, like you see these kids, like a lot of these girls, they never say, I want to be a fighter. You know, they don't say that. They want to play with Barbie dolls and paint their nails, you know? So it's kind of weird. It's actually disturbing if you think about it, some of these MMA fighters. Or some of them are actually men, like Chris Cyborg. Weird stuff. You think there's any female fighters out there that haven't had a situation in the past where like, I don't want to punch a girl in the face?
Seahawks just got a touchdown.
Okay, thanks for playing. Here we go. What else do we have in the news?
Valentina Shevchenko is open to Joanna Jedrzejczyk fight, saying, quote, why not? The nascent women's flyweight division took a big hit last weekend with the cancellation of a UFC 228 title bout between champion Nicco Montano and Valentina Shevchenko, and it could take a high-profile matchup to get it back on track. Could former strawweight champion Joanna Jedrzejczyk move up to 125 and take on Shevchenko? The possibility was raised by host Luke Thomas on the MMA Hour on Monday during an interview with Shevchenko, and she was amenable to the idea of fighting Jedrzejczyk again. Shevchenko competed against Jedrzejczyk 3 times during their days as Muay Thai competitors, with Shevchenko claiming a trio of division victories. She said, quote, we have our history with Joanna already in Muay Thai, and now we have our opportunity to start to create our history in MMA, mixed martial arts under UFC rules. Why not?
All right. So she wants to fight Joanna. Let's just move on from this. We're talking about too many ladies over here. I want to punch a lady right now. Too many. Let's talk about the guys, right? Right? What do you say?
Hang with the boys.
What do you say, boys? All right, what else we got in the news? Yeah, I mean, Joanna wants it. Valentina, of course, she wants that fight, right? She's already beaten her before, so yeah. All right, so what else we got?
Referee Herb Dean didn't do CB Dollaway any favors out there in Moscow.
You're gonna wrap one on one shoulder.
Yeah.
You're gonna wrap
Here we
the other
go.
on the other shoulder,
Herbivore.
and you're gonna
Vlad.
need a fucking army to come take them belts off me.
In my humble opinion, I believe women who get the pimp hand on average ask for it. Women in general push men to that point.
It's true.
It's not men's fault. Do we blame the gun for killing people or the shooter? Beat woman equals UFC legends. I vote yes to most.
Oh, my God. See, Vlad agrees. What do you think about that, Jesse? It's women's fault why they get beaten? No? All right. Thank you, Vlad, I think. All right, let's move on. And it's all jokes, by the way. We're not. Trust me, we don't. We're not for women getting beaten over here. Well, maybe Vlad is, but I'm joking. All right, Herb Avordine almost let CB Dollaway die in the cage. This UFC Russia. It was extremely hard to watch. And Jesse, what's the story?
CB Dollaway was in his fight with his opponent Khalid up until the moment he wasn't. He was controlling some of the action, scoring with takedowns, threatening to do damage from the mount. Then he ended up in a bad position, and then a worse one. Pretty soon, he was getting creamed in front of 22,000 rowdy Muscovites, the kind of mid-fight spiral no competitor wants to go through. Towards the end of the second round, he gave every indication he was done, at least to anybody watching the action from inside the Olympic Stadium or on their laptops on Fight Pass. It was especially clear to Dan Hardy, John Gooden, and Paul Felder, the cage-side commentators. So what happened? Without having all the details, it's at least possible that Dollaway was having a fully alert conversation with referee Herb Dean, while his opponent was slamming his fist into the screaming part of his skull. Maybe Dollaway was telling Dean, quote, "Don't stop the fight, I'm still in it," or something to that effect. But it didn't look that way. It looked like Dollaway was through and Dean wasn't all that interested in picking up the telltale signs. Signals like not fighting back, lying prone, turtling up against an onslaught of strikes, trying to protect his bloody face in a moment of fleeting consciousness, in hopes that such body language might double as a white flag to the last line of protection in the cage, the referee. Instead, Dean leaned in for a closer look, urging Dollaway to fight. Dollaway didn't. Dean persisted. He warned Dollaway that he would stop the fight, the thing Dollaway was begging him to do by not fighting. More punches and more spectator groans.
You know, Reverb Twang makes a good point. He says, send Herb Dean back to Wakanda. Should they do that? What do you think?
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I mean, Herb Dean usually is fairly good. He's had his moments where people have questioned and scratched their heads.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I've been adjusting it.
Yeah, I noticed it was pretty low.
Yeah, and I put it up and then you were blasted. So I don't know what to do anymore.
You just keep talking and I'm going to
so
respond and try and match. No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
Watch you. Start talking.
All right. We're not going to do this on the show. So Herb Dean, what do you guys think? What do you guys think in the chat? What is the deal with Herb Dean? I think what happened here was he had a moment, like he had a brain fart. If you notice during the fight, and if you didn't see it, watch this back. CB Dollaway retires and looked, I mean, he was just taking a complete beating. Herb Dean was standing over him, looking down, and I don't know what he was looking for. No intelligently defending himself by CB Dollaway. He was turtled up, just covering his head and just taking a beating. In fact, it just looked like he was just, it looked like he was going to die. And he's just getting clubbed. And credit to the other fighter for not stopping. He just kept going with it. But Herb Dean was just like, yeah, we're just going to let the round end. The round ends. CB Dollaway can't even get off his knees. Goes to the corner and just like, yeah, I'm done. I'm done with this. I'm done with my career. Man, what do you do in a situation like this? And also, did Herb Dean even respond to this? Did he go on Twitter? Did he say anything?
There was nothing so far.
You're gonna wrap one on one shoulder, and
Here's
wrap
Vlad.
the other on the other shoulder, and you're gonna need a fucking army to come take them belts off me.
Vlad says.
For example, recently Ariana Grande, while dressed like a complete whore at a funeral, was so-called assault by the pastor.
Yeah.
Did she not ask for it by the way she was dressed? I don't think so. Self-victimization is real. Lol. Hashtag pimp and building legend.
All right. Well, in fairness, I think Ariana Grande deserves any sort of a beating, right? She's kind of annoying. What do you think?
No comment.
Okay. Thank you, Vlad, for the donation. She should get a beating for just the music that she creates. Anyway, Herb Dean. So, Jesse, what do you think about this? What were your thoughts before Vlad jumped in?
I think Herb Dean has made mistakes before. Every referee's made mistakes, but it was very unlike him to just stand there and allow a fighter to take a beating. So it's a little disappointing. It's actually really disappointing to see someone like Herb Dean. It's exactly like a Mario Yamasaki situation. You know, he just stands there like he completely zones out and lets a fighter just get pummeled.
It was hard to watch in our reaction. I don't know, and let us know in the chat, Paul Felder, how is the commentating team? How are they during that? I mean, they must have been cringing. They must have been saying, "Hey, stop the fight." I mean, you couldn't watch that. It was really rough to watch. I don't know what was going through his head there, and I'm surprised we haven't heard anything from Dana White. Usually Dana White likes to light the refs on fire. This one he took a pass. Even Luke Thomas, I have to give credit. Luke Thomas said something about this situation, and he's friends with Herb Dean, and he called him out for it. It was a tough one. I don't know what the fuck happened there. I would love to hear Herb's side of the story. I mean, I don't know how you really defend this whole situation. And speaking of Luke Thomas, I'm going to sidetrack real quick. Luke Thomas is supposed to have Joanna Jedrzejczyk on today, right? Supposed to have Joanna Jedrzejczyk on. And what happens? Ariel has her on, right? And Joanna blows off Luke. Thoughts, Jesse?
It's not a surprise if she's going on to Ariel Helwani. I would do the same thing.
So you would blow off Luke Thomas?
For Ariel Helwani?
For some reason, I'm really excited for this one.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, fuck you.
That's right. The Fuck Luke Thomas song.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Widow's peak, stupid hair. That's your opinion. I don't care. I can deadlift. I can squat. My inverted penis looks like a twat. Fuck you. Luke Thomas, fuck you.
Luke Thomas, fuck you.
Luke Thomas, eat a bag of tits. Comfy hoodies, extra tight suits. Eddie Monster face, hot dog bottom lip. Never smiles, serial killing ears. YouTube live streams.
Never reach Jack.
Fuck you. Luke Thomas, fuck you. Luke Thomas, fuck you. Luke Thomas,
Eat a bag of dicks.
fuck you. Luke Thomas, fuck you. Luke Thomas, fuck you. Luke Thomas, eat a
Bag of dicks. Digging it from the grave. Luke Thomas. There he is. There he is. Our friend Luke Thomas.
Yes.
Sorry you got blown off. All right, what else do we have in the news? It's fitting that we play this song, right, Jesse? As we see a romantic picture of Mark Hunt getting caressed
It's
by
very
Aleksei Oleinik. All right, what do we got?
Well, we kind of covered this a little bit in the beginning, but just to retouch on some of the results from this weekend's fight at UFC Moscow, Aleksei Oleinik submits Mark Hunt in the first round. Oleinik likes to submit people, as we all know. The 41-year-old Russian had his first UFC main event in his 69th career fight on Saturday at UFC Moscow, and he subjected veteran Mark Hunt to his favorite method of finishing the fight, scoring his eye-popping 47th career submission win. A rear naked choke got the job done at the 4:26 mark of the opening round. That gives Oleinik 12 career RNC finishes, which ties his career. Ezekiel, pronounce it for me. Ezekiel chokes.
Ezekiel choke.
For his most executed finishes. He said, quote, "I planned and I practiced submission victories in my prep, but the Ezekiel choke wasn't one of them." Things weren't looking so great for Oleinik in the outgoing as the hard-hitting Hunt peppered Oleinik with nasty leg kicks. Oleinik himself later admitted he felt the sting, saying, quote, "I totally felt it, probably 3 or 4 more of these, and it probably would have affected the outcome."
Yeah, the outcome was a disaster fight for Mark Hunt. So there you go. Mark Hunt catches the L. And what do you think in the chat? What is next for the Super Samoan? It is sad to see. I mean, the guy was fireworks. So much fun to watch. What a history with the guy. Walk-off finishes. I still like Mark Hunt, but it was a tough one. What else we got in the news, JBH?
Carlos Condit versus Michael Chiesa in the works for UFC 232.
I hope he doesn't talk about his mother, you know?
Wonderful.
Okay. Jesus Christ.
Following a second-round submission loss to Anthony Pettis at UFC 226, Michael Chiesa made the decision to move up to welterweight for his next contest for a fresh start. Chiesa had a name in mind for his welterweight debut, former interim welterweight champion Carlos Condit. And sources close to MMA News, Damon Martin, has confirmed that the bout is very close to being finalized for UFC 232. As initially reported by Chris Taylor of BJPenn.com, after receiving word that Michael Chiesa handpicked him from the welterweight debut, Carlos Condit was quick to take to Twitter and publicly welcome the contest. He tweeted in with a skull emoji at UFC, Sean Shelby, Mike Mav 22, see you in December, big guy. He also retweeted BJ Penn's tweet saying Mike Mav 22 is headed to welterweight and hopes for UFC 232 clash with Carlos Condit.
I like this fight. I really like this fight. I think this is going to be a good one. It's a good matchup. Michael Chiesa needs to go up. He goes up to 170. He faces Carlos Condit, and Carlos Condit is on the downcline. So Michael Chiesa, running his mouth, the weight cut, blah, 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 blah. He's pretty big for 155. Let's see how he'll fare at 170. I like this. It's interesting because when you look at this fight, usually you would say, hey, yeah, Carlos Condit's going to smoke him. But what Carlos Condit are we going to see? I mean, the guy hasn't been himself since he's come back. He took that long break, and he hasn't really looked very good. So I think this is a really good fight because I just can't say, okay, we have a winner here. Let me know in the chat who you think is going to win. Jesse, looking at this fight, do you see a clear-cut winner?
I saw it in the chat, too. I was just going to bring it up about Chiesa missing weight. I
want Condit to win.
Yeah, I'd like to see Condit win.
I want to see him destroy him.
But ask me again when we get closer to UFC 232.
All right, fair enough. 232 is the fight card that one should be on, and I'm looking forward to that. A lot of good fights coming up. Man, some of these fight cards are bangers. Bangers, bangers, bangers. All right, we're going to fly through the news with 5 minutes left. You can save the show with a donation, so let's see if someone saves the show this time on the MMA-Holes Hour. Another banger, Jesse. What do we got?
Former UFC champ Johnny Hendricks is set to fight Brennan Ward in a bare-knuckle boxing match.
I love this. I fucking love this. I was so excited when I saw this, and I know, Johnny Hendricks is he's donezo, but this whole weird thing with Brennan Ward leaving Bellator, he's like, let me go. Oh, I fucking love this. All right, what do we got here?
Former UFC welterweight champion Johnny Hendricks will be returning to professional competition less than a year after retiring, ditching the 4-ounce MMA gloves to fight Brennan Ward in a bare-knuckle boxing match. Fightbook MMA first reported the matchup. Hendricks and Ward will headline the World Bare-Knuckle Fighting Federations for their first ever event, Rise of the Titans, on November 9th. Last month, the promotion announced that they had signed UFC veterans Melvin Gillard and Josh Neer. Hendricks is 18-8, announced his retirement from MMA in June of this year. The Big Rig struggled in the UFC after losing his welterweight title to Robbie Lawler in late 2014, only picking up 2 wins in his last 7 fights for the promotion. Hendricks last fought against Paulo Costa in November 2017, losing by second-round TKO. Much like his opponent, Ward is 14-6, also recently announced his retirement from MMA after he was forced to withdraw from his scheduled bout against Andre Fiallo at Bellator 207. The WBKFF will host their debut card at the Casper Event Center in Wyoming on November 9th. It will be live on pay-per-view and available to purchase on Fight TV. UFC veterans Chris Leben and Phil Baroni will also face each other on the card, and former American football linebacker Sean Merriman will fight Mike
I
Bork.
love it. I fucking love it. I'm so into this. I really have to see. I hope they don't put it up against the UFC again. Please, bare knuckle boxing, whatever we do. What's the date of it?
November 9th.
November 9th.
On Fight TV.
Is that on a Saturday? November 9th. Hold on.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Hold on. I'll be right back. Hold on.
Watch me figure this out faster than him. Hold on, guys. Nope, just kidding. You got it.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
Yes. Oh, I'm so in. I'm so in. We're totally reacting to that. It's going to be such a shit show. I can't fucking wait. I'm in. I'm into that. All right. What else do we have in the news?
The UFC is hosting a Times Square viewing party for Conor McGregor versus Khabib Nurmagomedov press conference.
Really?
Yes. UFC 229 is taking over New York this week in more ways than one. And Chicago's going to make another touchdown. It's great.
There goes Chicago running into the end zone. Yes. That's right. All right. What else?
With the countdown to Khabib Nurmagomedov versus Conor McGregor set to begin, the UFC is hosting a viewing party Thursday in New York's Times Square for fight fans to watch the UFC 229 kickoff press conference scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern Time.
Wow. Hold on a second. Should we go to that? Should we live stream from Times Square?
We should discuss that after.
All right. Let me know in the chat with the ones if you want us to go to Times Square and do a press conference reaction. Oh my God, that's the way to go.
The promotion announced Monday that its official UFC 229 viewing party will be held on the block on Broadway between 45th and 46th Streets, where the Nurmagomedov vs. McGregor press conference will air live on Silvercast's 330-foot Megazilla, the world's largest TV screen. The UFC 229 kickoff press conference is scheduled to be open to media only. However, a UFC official told MMA Fighting that all UFC 229 Fight Week events, open workouts, pre-fight press conference, weigh-ins will be open to the attending fans in Las Vegas as per usual. UFC 229 takes takes place October 6th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Nurmagomedov, the reigning UFC lightweight champ, puts his undefeated record on the line against former two-division title holder McGregor in the night's blockbuster main event.
I like that. I like that Times Square thing. It's pump. And by the way, we are media. We have press passes, for fuck's sake. We can get in if we wanted to. They're going to let everyone their mother in with a press pass. So I think we can get into that. But the reason why we're not going to it because we can't stream from inside. So that's the reason why. That's the reason why we don't go to the UFC events as well. All right. So how many more topics do we have left here?
We have 2 more topics.
All right. 2 more topics.
No, 1 topic. Sorry.
1 more topic. All right. So here's the deal. On the clock, 5 minutes are going. Here we go. 5 minutes. Right there. There's the music. All right. 5 minutes on the clock. The first donation that comes in, that denomination could extend the show, save the show, and we'll open up the phone lines.
Yeah.
Will you save the show? Shout out to Clocks dropping a $2.50 on the super chat. Shout out to Vlad for dropping in some wonderful, wonderful donations. But will you save the show? Jesse, what's the last topic?
Conor McGregor unveils his Proper 12 Irish whiskey brand.
Proper 12. I don't know why I did a French thing.
All right. Following his boxing mega fight with Floyd Mayweather Jr. last summer, Conor McGregor revealed he planned on creating his own brand of Irish whiskey. The former UFC lightweight and featherweight champ created his popularity in a large part because he backs up his talk with action. So it should be no surprise that just over a year later, the Dublin native's whiskey brand is now a reality. Monday, McGregor announced the unveiling of his Proper 12 whiskey brand via Instagram, saying, quote, "Born and bred in Dublin, suburb of Crumlin, Dublin 12. Proper 12 is who I am." McGregor stated, "I want to make an Irish whiskey emblematic of Irish culture as a whole and something that would showcase the great skill we possess of distilling the best whiskey in the entire world." McGregor also told GQ that he will donate up to $1 million per year of the proceeds of Proper 12 at $5 per case to first responder organizations and charities. The former champion returns to the Octagon October 5th for what we all know to be UFC 229. You can see McGregor's full Instagram post via the link on the MMA-Holes.com. I can read it to you, or you can just go look at it. It's great.
The MMAHoles.com is where we pull these stories. We get stories from all over the world. We drop them on our message board, and it is wonderful, wonderful. All right, so are you going to be trying this whiskey from Conor McGregor? And I like that he's throwing some of it to charity, right? Why
I
not?
certainly would like to try it.
We need to get the whiskey before UFC 229, right?
Okay.
We drink the
Makes
Conor
perfect sense.
whiskey before 229.
Or on 229, we'll drink it.
Yeah. Well, they say it's going to be in America too, right? So I'm assuming it's going to be there. We're gonna hunt for this whiskey. When does this get released? Did they say?
3 years into the making. No, it does not give a date. No, unfortunately, there's no
ridiculous.
date provided for this.
Well, it's all over the place, so I'm assuming that it's released now, right? I don't know. Anyway, are you going to release? Are you going to release? You're going to release the dragons? Are you going to try this notorious whiskey? Yes, or no? 2 minutes left in the show. Will you save the show? We're going to find out in seconds. Make sure you check us out on iTunes and Podbean. After the show, once it processes, we take the audio and we rip it over there so you can hear the audio versions of this. If you can't watch, now you can have an audio way of listening. Let's see what's in the chat as the clock is winding down. Only 150 left in the show.
Steve Johnson says, Stelio 2, how else are you going to get ahead if you can't shit down the spines of others? Drunk Savage says, Stelio 2, you ever go to a Jewish temple and tear up dollar bills to see them freak out?
What the fuck?
Vigo Stockholm says, fuck Seattle.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Sunny D says, yes. Jay Smooth says, Seattle Seahawks. Sean Hart says, he was going to launch early if he beat Floyd under the name Notorious. Michael
Update real quick, 24-10 with 4 minutes and 29 seconds left in the game. Chicago over the Seahawks. What else?
Let's not talk about it.
1 minute and 19, 18, 17 seconds left in the show. Will someone save it?
Such a disappointment. Jay Smooth says, Seattle Sea Pussies. Marky Wahoo says, I will destroy one of his bottles. For real, I'm going to smash that sucker like a Viking drinking virgin piss.
Whoa.
Son ED says, Bears, you're welcome. Sean Jordan says, Wilson sucks big fat juicy wieners. And H says, Seahawks. Suck. John Smith says, why doesn't anybody want to see McGregor versus Caitlyn Jenner? Steve Johnson says, Clocks, did you pick Canelo based on outside factors or did you pick based on fighting? Like I picked Eagles on outside factors in the NFL. Son ED says, you guys ever sex under the octagon?
Yes, sir.
Kevin from Chicago says, show's over.
35 seconds left. It's looking that way. Thank you for joining us. The MMA-Holes Hour has wound down with a big special thank you to Clocks. Clocks dropping that $250 super chat over there. Congratulations on your big win. And thank you so much for the generous donation. We do appreciate that.
Whoa!
Whoa! Someone saving the show, Van Shipman! Yes!
Notorious whiskey makes you gas in 6 to 8 minutes.
Is that true? Is that true, Van Shipman? Does it make you gas?
In 6 to 8 minutes.
All right. So Van Shipman saved the show. So we'll put 2 minutes on the clock over there. There we go. Thank you, Van Shipman.
Van Shipman.
All right. 2 minutes back on the clock. Van Shipman gets it done. So thank you so much for making Connor fly. And all right. So it is fight week, right? So I do want to talk about this before we do completely shut down. It is a fight week, and we're going to get into more detail about it come Wednesday, the Wednesday night show. So let's go to the schedule. Scroll down, and Jimi Manuwa should be taken off of UFC.com because he is not fighting anymore.
Bum, bum, bum.
Let's look at this card real quick. 1 minute, 30 seconds left in the show.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see what we got. All right, so Ronda Marcos, the female Dominic Cruz, will be fighting. Will be opening up the main card. So there she is. She looks just like Dominic Cruz. In fact, I think she is Dominic Cruz. I think it's a conspiracy. She's fighting Marina Rodriguez, a 9-0 man, because it's a silhouette of a man. Okay. Barao is back versus Andre Ewell. All right, interesting fight over there. Andre Ewell was the kid that beat Sweetbread, remember, at CES? Look at this. This kid he beats the hometown kid at CES and jumps on the main card over here. Good stuff. Fighting a fucking animal and Renan Barao. Look at that. Remember Andre Ewell, Jesse? Well, you're going to see him again on UFC now. Smiling Sam versus Nogueira. Man, Smiling Sam's going to fucking knock Nogueira's head off. I see these things. Oliveira versus Perasoli. 11-1-0 versus the 18-4-1. Still dangerous Alex Oliveira. And this is in Brazil. Eryk Anders versus Thiago Santos. The Thor hammered chesticles.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Fun card. Fight night. It's nothing crazy over there. We'll be streaming live for this. And Jesse, will your tits be out for that show?
Absolutely. My tits are out for every show.
All right. So stay tuned for that. If you're not subscribed, well, give us a sub because we will be live for that and UFC 229. I'm projecting a half
500,000 views.
That's right. 500,000 views. That's what I'm projecting for UFC 229. It's going to be a bananas night. If you've never seen one of our crazy McGregor nights, it's a must. Yeah.
Just go with Marky Wahoo. That's the tits.
It is the tits.
It's gonna be the tits of a show.
By the way, there is the Harvey plant over there. It's still alive, so that's an update on that. And yeah, Jesse, last words. Thank you for saving the show. Thank you for all the donations, and once again, thank you, Clocks, so much for being so generous. Go for it, Jesse.
Don't be an a-hole.
Be what, Jesse?
Be
Yes.
an MMA-hole.